pleasure of introducing a few folks this afternoon also. I'm going to start with Mr. Edward Gallivan, who started his career in Silver Creek in 1999, and he has 18 years of experience. So once I learned that Mr. Buczkowski wasn't here, I did a little bit of legwork to find out more about these individuals that I was going to be speaking about. And so I spoke with a few folks from the high school that know Mr. Gallivan rather well. And so here's some information I gathered. He graduated from Silver Creek in 1980, and he also had two of his own children graduate from Silver Creek. When he was in school, he was a member of our track and our football team. He was the track MVP and a high point scorer during his senior year. In fact, Ed, and I can see this, held a record for the 400, which was later broken by one of the very students that he coached. Because once he moved on from high school and college, he first, I believe, started teaching at Cattaraugus Central School District, and eventually moved to Silver Creek to be closer to his family and to have his two children attend the very school that he works. Well, he was here and coached track for us. So some other information. I believe that Ed is one of the founding members of the Royal Fake Fossil Association. And my understanding is that one boy and girl each quarter, for their outstanding participation in our science, are nominated for this. This didn't surprise me when I heard this, because in my early morning walks or later at night, I quite frequently see Mr. Gallivan in his room, and he's always willing to update his lesson plans and stay current. You know, I understand maybe he wasn't the most eager to embrace the technology boom that happened a few years ago, but with everything Mr. Gallivan does, these individuals I talked to said he went after it, he supported it, he believed in it, and he professionally integrated that information into his curriculum, and now I believe he feels it's probably a pretty darn good tool. But he had a professional spirit in his approach, is my takeaway there. Mr. Gallivan's the type of teacher, just as all the individuals we've talked about here today, that he had time for other people. Never turned anyone away. Always would take an extra moment assisting students or staff. Pretty interesting. Mr. Buczkowski was out with his first leave. And so things were pretty busy, and I went to Mr. Gallivan and said, Ed, I'd like to start organizing this earth science search for your vacancy. And I can tell you that's not something I would normally do. Generally, when somebody's going to retire, we have a brand new committee and we move in a different direction. But I know the type of person Ed is, and I knew he could handle this responsibility professionally and open. And very interesting, as we got down to the end of the search and the final candidates, 3 of the final candidates, the committee selected the candidates, by the way, not Ed. 3 of the final candidates student taught for Ed. Aaron Johnson, we hired, student taught for Ed. And he'll be moving back, Aaron and his family, from the Pembroke area. They're relocating to Hamburg, and he's going to coach for us for next year. But pretty interesting that some of our top finalists were mentored by the gentleman that we're honoring here today. You know, Ed always has a happy grin and a smile on his face. He's always willing to give to others. I've learned that. The only other thing I heard about him is that his smile is probably much better than his golf game, but that was, Ed, you can't get mad at me. That's one from just one of your colleagues in the science department. Without further ado, it's my sincere, humble opportunity to present Mr. Gallivan with his plaque. Can you come forward, sir?